It's Sunday night, which means it's time for your Bell Breakdown. Film critic Josh Bell joining us live now. Josh, hello to you. This is exciting.
Yeah, always fun to be here, talk about what's going on this week at the movies.
Exactly, and I love this. Eddie Griffin back on air on the screen. I know he's hosting SNL for the first time in a long time, so he's really going to be back, and I just am such a fan of Eddie Griffin, but it's a movie on Netflix, right?
Yeah, it's Eddie Murphy, not Eddie Griffin.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm sorry.
Eddie Griffin, also funny, but Eddie Murphy is the star of Dolomite Is My Name, and it is a Netflix original movie, but we've got it in theaters here this week. It's at the Eclipse Theaters and at the Maya Cinemas. It's a biopic about Rudy Ray Moore, who was a blaxploitation star and comedian who made a movie called Dolomite in the 1970s, which is something to see. It's sort of it's a landmark of its time. It's a very bad but entertainingly bad movie, and he was an over-the-top character, and it's a great role for Eddie Murphy, who is kind of making a comeback after years of not so great movies. And it's funny, it's entertaining, it's a great biopic, and it's cool to see it in theaters here before you can catch it on Netflix. We don't always get those Netflix movies here. It'll be on Netflix on the 25th, but you can see it through this week at those two local theaters.
Sounds good to me. Josh, yes. I cannot believe I just made that mistake, but we're just going to roll on by.
Yeah, just keep going. I don't think Eddie Murphy's watching, so he'll forgive us.
I'm sorry, Eddie. Okay. Moving on to a sci-fi classic, a horror classic, perfect for time around Halloween.
Yes.
Alien.
Yeah, it is a sci-fi classic and a horror classic. I think it's a great movie of both genres. It's the 40th anniversary of Halloween, of Halloween. I just did it too. We talked about Halloween last week, I think. Yes. It's the 40th anniversary of Alien, and Halloween is coming up, so it's perfect for Halloween. TCM does these great big screen classics. They give you the movie as well as some context. We've got the TCM hosts. We'll do some bonus content. So you can see that on the 15th and 16th at a bunch of local theaters. And I've seen Alien in a theater, and it's a very intense experience. And so I would recommend it. You know, maybe not for the faint of heart, but it is a great movie. Sigourney Weaver, amazing in it. So yeah, love Alien.
I have not seen Alien, so sell it to me in like 20 seconds.
Oh God, now I'm on the spot. It's scary, but it's slow building, and it draws you in. You will feel like you're there with them. In a terrifying experience. So if you don't want that, maybe don't see it. But yeah, it's incredibly well done for what it is, I think.
I'm into that once in a while, and especially around Halloween, it's like, be in the spirit, you might as well.
Yeah,
you know?
it holds up really well. 40 years, and the effects look great, the set design, all of it looks wonderful still.
Okay, I love that. Moving on to a Kevin Smith classic, Jay and Silent Bob's reboot, right?
Yeah, well, this is not a classic. This is a new film. I mean, it could be a classic eventually.
An instant classic.
But Jay and Silent Bob are sort of classic characters, you could say, from Kevin Smith's films, first from Clerks from 1994, and they had their own adventure in Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. There's definitely a cult following for these kind of stonery characters. They are back in Jay and Silent Bob Reboot, which is a new film, but it's only showing a couple days in theaters. Is another kind of event thing on the 16th and 17th of October at a bunch of theaters around town, and there's some bonus stuff with that, as well as the first Jay and Silent Bob, the Strikes Back film is showing on one of the days. So if you like Kevin Smith.
Maybe I meant, so the characters are classics.
The characters, sure.
But the movie is
not yet a classic. Okay. The characters, yeah, I have a soft spot for Kevin Smith movies, especially Clerks, and I'm looking forward to seeing this. Hopefully it will be fun.
To be determined on the classic.
Yes,
okay, we'll talk about that later. So the Henderson Symphony Orchestra playing a the live musical score of Close Encounters of the Third Kind.
Yes,
Spielberg.
which is a classic.
Which is a classic.
A sci-fi classic from 1977. And this is cool. The Henderson Symphony Orchestra has done this with silent films, but I don't know if they've done this with a newer film yet. They're going to perform live with the movie. They're going to play the score at the Henderson Pavilion on October 18th, and you can see it obviously in the biggest possible screen and really get enveloped in that. The sound, the John Williams music is amazing, and it's a great movie as well. So a cool thing to check out from the Henderson Symphony.
And I was going to say, I think the Henderson Pavilion is such a great spot to either. I mean, I've watched VGK games there. But to watch a movie, just be outside, you get some concession stand food, it's a great night.
Right, it is a lot of fun and it's family friendly. I've been to a bunch of the silent movie events that they've had there with the Henderson Symphony, and it's always a good time. I'm glad they're continuing it on.
I love it, I love it. To a movie, finally, that I actually have
All
seen,
right.
Beetlejuice, and I hate to say it, but it is a classic, right,
It
Josh?
is a classic.
Okay.
I mean, it's always good to see classic films. I love Beetlejuice. Tim Burton, of course, about to open an exhibit here in town at the Neon Museum, and you can catch Beetlejuice as part of the Galaxy Theater's Flashback Cinema on the 20th and 23rd of October at the various Galaxy locations around town. And yeah, Beetlejuice is great. Michael Keaton, so funny in this movie. I feel like it's probably like peak Tim Burton.
Oh, for sure.
When he was right at the height of his powers, and it's an original story, and maybe my favorite Tim Burton movie. Well, actually, I take that back, it's not. But I do love it. I do love Tim Burton, and again, it's perfect for both for Halloween and for the exhibit that we're about to have.
And Beetlejuice is always a classic Halloween character to
Yes.
portray yourself.
Yeah, maybe
too.
some people go in costume, you never know.
Exactly. Josh, dare I say, this interview was an instant classic.
Yes, I think
High
so.
five for that.
All right.
All right, it'll be online at ktnv.com. We'll be right back with a final check of your forecast. Don't miss it.